one of those. The 12 tribes waking up, they know we on the road. I'm seeking the kingdom, yeah. Confess my sins, yeah. Messiah coming here. I'm seeking the kingdom. I'm seeking the kingdom, yeah. Confess my sins, yeah. Messiah coming here. I'm seeking the kingdom. I'm seeking the kingdom, yeah. Confess my sins, yeah. Messiah coming here. I'm seeking the kingdom. I'm seeking the kingdom, yeah. Confess my sins, yeah. Messiah coming here. I'm seeking the kingdom. I'm seeking the kingdom. Had a big head.
Shalom, shalom, planet Earth. Welcome back to TRU-TALK. Uh, that's what we all should be doing, seeking the kingdom. Uh, no matter what word that lead us, and usually that will leave us on a lonely word, a road where uh, many will frown upon us and even call us evil. You know, the scripture says there's a day when they're gonna kill us and think they're doing the most our works. But let's get into His word and let's talk about maybe something that's controversial, because I believe I know scripture cover every single aspect of our life. When you really look at that book, it teaches us everything and how to live and how to behave ourselves. And it was brought up today. I heard somebody over talking about fighting and turning the other cheek. And so most I put on my spirit to bring His word out, what His rules and commandments and authority, because He's the final authority on everything. Is fighting wrong? Is it a sin? Should we fight? Should we not fight? Now we know the scripture says that we should try to get along with every man, that we should have peace with every man. So the goal is not to fight. We shouldn't go around looking to fight or want to fight. We should want to have peace with every man. We should want to have peace with everybody. But scripture also says there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time to plant. There's a time to upplant. There's a time to peace. There's a time for war. There's a time to not speak, a time to speak, etc. You get it. So there is a time to fight. And when that time comes, I don't want you to think you're sinning or in the wrong. Because let's be clear, there's no commandment, and I repeat, there's no commandment where the Father says, thou should not fight. He says, thou should not steal. He said, thou should not commit adultery. He said, thou should not murder. He told us we should not lie. But he said, a man should not lay with another man. He says we shouldn't eat certain type of food. But there's no law, no commandment that says thou should not fight. Now, matter of fact, he do speak in the scriptures, what we're going to go over, that if there is a fight, he gave some judgment and some statutes of how we should deal with two brothers that fight one another. So he don't say fighting wrong, but he say is it happen. He don't uh, speak of commandments against fighting. He gives rules and regulations of when it happened, how it should happen in a fair manner. You know, kind of like when we in the hood, when two people get ready to fight, what we do, we say, all right, now one on one, one on one. We start laying out the rules. No jumping in. Nobody ain't gonna jump in. Okay, look, it's hands on. Ain't nobody picking up no sticks. Or, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no stabbing or nothing. And then if one start to beat one up too bad, we'll say, all right, that's enough. But y'all want to go for round two? What? Y'all finished? Y'all tired? What's up? So it's just like that. He was setting rules. If two men happen to get into it, what should be the rules of engagement? Uh, and we have instructions of people fighting or quote on fighting out. You know, in the scripture there was many battles, and I don't know if you can necessarily say that's fighting. When you go to war, you know you had to use swords and bow and arrows. But while they were swinging that iron and them bow and arrows, them swords and stuff, I'm pretty sure they had to have some combat that they was swinging, putting hands on some people. Nevertheless, we have Dawid or Dawad or David. Scripture says he was a man after the Most High own heart, and he went to battle with David. Now you can label that a fight or a battle, or however you want to do that, but it was one on one, and it was David against this giant. But let's talk about Abraham. Abraham actually fought with an angel. Now, if you read that verse in Hebrew, it says when he came up, he seen a company of angels. So he seen a whole bunch of angels. But he was fighting with one angel until the sun came up. To the fact when, the angel said, okay, I got something else to do. I got to go. Let me go. And Abraham had a grip on him and said, no, I won't let you go until you bless me. Now, kind of in my mind, I picture all the angels was around him, kind of like a mosh pit. And they was in a circle. And Abraham and this angel were just fighting. And all the other angels was kind of like cheering them on. That's kind of how I see it. Because it did say that Abraham seen a company of angels, or a multitude of angels. So he didn't just see one, he stumbled across a whole army of angels. And, he fought with one of the angels and got a blessing out of that. So was that a sin what they was doing? Was Abraham and that angel sinning when they was fighting? How about Moses? When Moses saved the women's, when one of the women's later on became his wife, when he saved the women from the well, when the women's went out to draw water from the well, that the men's in that country was bullying them, wouldn't let them get the water until they get finished. And Moses came along and handled business. Now it don't go in details in the King James Version, but in the books that they took out, it gives a little bit more detail. And basically, Moses put hands to them. He beat their butt, and it was more than one. So, I don't know if Moses was a tall man or a man with muscles or what, but it seemed like Moses had them hands, and Moses wasn't nobody to play with. Also I think it's in the TRU or one of the books, when the prophets told the men's not to sell on the Sabbath. And he told the man, this was the prophet of the Most High. He told the foreign man, hey, if you come back to try to sell to the people on Sabbath, I'm going to put hands on you. So he literally told the man, If you continue to try to sell to my people on the Sabbath and entice them to sin, because the people sitting at the gates after he closed the gates and told them not to come by and try to sell on the Sabbath, to sell to his people on the Sabbath. They still were coming by and sitting at the gates. He said, hey, why you doing that? If you come by again, I'm going to put hands on you. So this prophet, this man of the Most High, threatened to beat these people up. And it says that after that, the people did not come by no more. That's just a couple examples of when, uh, people was so-called fighting in the scripture or threatening to fight somebody in the scripture. Now, we know that the scripture is for our example. So when we look at it, we can get an idea of what's the rules of engagement. Now, even though Abraham came on the company of angels, it was one-on-one when Abraham and the angel was fighting. Even when David fought the Goliath, they said, okay, your man fight our man. We see one-on-one. So if the scripture is for our improvement, our example, for our straighten, for all these things, for our rebuke, to help us to know better and to learn, we can look at these things and learn from them. Oh, I forgot about the other fight where when the Israelite fought with uh when they came out of Egypt, and they came out of Egypt with the mixed multitude, when the Israelite got into it with one of the children from the mixed multitude. And I think it said that his uh mama was his mama was an Israelite, but his daddy was, I believe, Egyptian. So one of the children of Israel got into it with one of the mixed breeds, and they didn't get in trouble for fighting. It says that when they strived together, fought together, that the mixed breed, the one that was of the mixed multitude, that fought against one of the Israelite children, he said he blasphemed he blasphemed the name of the Most High. So that was the reason why he was punished, not for fighting, but for blaspheming the name of the Most High. It didn't say anything about, oh, they was fighting, this was wrong. It just said, hey, they was fighting and he blasphemed the name of the Most High. What should we do about him blaspheming the name of the Most High? And we know that he was stoned to death. So that's another example of somebody fighting in the scriptures. Now, I want to be fair because I know somebody going to bring up this verse, and I had addressed this verse plenty of times in my videos, but this is the perfect time to address it again. Turn the other cheek. In this Christianity, they will make you think or feel like you're not supposed to offend yourself. You're not supposed to, if somebody hits you, you're supposed to be just a little coward and sit down and somebody hits you. If somebody break in your house and start beating you around, are you going to turn the other cheek? If somebody start raping your wife, are you going to turn the other cheek? Of course not. Even Messiah told his disciples to go out and buy swords, even though he didn't let them use them at that time. He told them to buy swords because there may be a time where they have to use them. So the idea is the idea of that verse. See, the Messiah spoke in parables. And that's what people don't get. When he was saying the kingdom of heaven is like a seed, he wasn't really saying that the kingdom of heaven was a seed. It was a parable. When he was saying the kingdom of heaven is like this, and like a a, a woman that go to the grocery store and coming home there's a hole in the bag. He wasn't literally saying that there was a woman that went to the grocery store and had a hole in the bag. He was speaking in parables. And that's why he said most people will not get it or understand. And that's what the Messiah was did when he was speaking. He was speaking in parables. And if you read that verse, before he says turn the other cheek, he's talking about how we should not do evil for evil. He was saying, how you put it, it's the devil, resist the devil, and he'll flee. Do not, you know, that was the whole argument, or before he said turn the other cheek, he was explaining about how to resist the devil, that don't do evil for evil. And then after he say don't do evil for evil, he says he tell this parable or explain himself that if somebody smack you in the face, an example of somebody smacking you in the face is somebody doing something hurtful in front of your face. Because if somebody smack you in the face, that's somebody doing something hurtful and painful to you in front of your face. So if somebody do something hurtful and painful to you in front of your face, don't be so quick to react. Because a lot of times that's what we want to do. Our reaction is to slap them back. They do something hurtful to us, to do something hurtful to them. And he was saying don't be that way. Turn the other cheek. It was just a parable to tell you not to do tit for tat, to resist the devil. When he was telling us to resist the devil and don't do evil for evil, that went along with that lesson. That's not two separate things. So yes, that's one thing Christianity had messed up and had, want people to be soft and want people to not defend themselves. No, that's a misunderstanding of that verse. He was not saying not to defend yourself. He was saying, once again, don't go tit for tat. Don't try to revenge yourself. Turn the other cheek. But of course, there's a time for everything. If somebody put their hands on you, any man, you better defend yourself. Now, I want to bring balance to this because with everything, we got to have discernment and understanding and balance. Before I go into this verse about fighting, because we know how the enemy works. We know we in the world where people don't fight. Most of the time, people shoot and stab. A lot of people had lost their life because they went to fight somebody. Instead of that person fighting them, that person shot them or stabbed them. You know, since that's the Messiah said a parable, I'm gonna say a parable. There was a case of a man. He a racist man down there in Florida. You know, Florida got your stand your ground law. Well, you can kill somebody and basically get off. It's called stand your ground. If somebody attack you and you feel like your life in danger, you can actually kill them and get off down there in Florida. But this racist man, white man, on a couple of his days off, and he didn't have to work, he will go somewhere where there was cameras at and a lot of people, somewhere like a Walmart parking lot or anywhere where a lot of people will come by and where there was cameras at. And he will sit on his truck and he will, every black person that come by, it don't matter if they was a man or a woman, there was an old black man, an old black woman, or a 14-year-old girl or 13-year-old black boy, long as it was a Negro, long as it was a Hebrew, when they walk by, he will say racist slurs to them. And he will say little things to try to provoke them. Usually it'll be racist. Sometimes he'll say something to try to just make them mad. But most of the time he'll say something racist. And if people walk by and some people will, have a couple words with him. Other people will just keep walking. And there was this one incident where a young Hebrew man, a black man, was walking. And he was walking with his wife and his two sons and his two daughters. And as they walked by this racist white man. And this racist white man, he kept a gun on him. And he knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to provoke somebody to come and fight them so he can kill them and get off with, I was just defending myself. So this young Hebrew man walked by with his family. And of course, this racist white man started provoking them, started name calling, saying racial things to him, his kids, and his wife. And this man turned around and confronted him. And after a couple of words, the black man swung on the white man. As soon as he hit the white man pulled out the gun and shot him dead, right there in front of his wife and two kids, and got off. And when they ran the cameras to see what happened, and they said, yeah, we did see the black gentleman turn around and attack you, and you defend yourself. But they noticed that he was sitting in the parking lot for hours, and that he would have what they considered, they didn't know if it was conversation or arguments, but they just seen people walk by and they seemed to be getting a little argument or conversation. So when they did investigation and they talked to the people, and the people, they said, yeah, he's sitting in the parking lot and he's, that's what he do. He harass people. He name call. He say racial things. And like I said, some people they'll have a couple words with him, but they'll walk off. They'll never get to a point where they'll try to fight him. And the argument that the dead man lawyer was trying to make was this was premeditated murder because this racist white man had a motive and he was going there, and he had evidence of this because people came forward and said, yeah, when he walked by, he was say, stuff to us, seemed like he was trying to provoke us. He would just say racist things to us. So the lawyer was arguing that in this case, this was not stand your ground. This was premeditated murder because he was going there deliberately to kill someone. And but unfortunately, he lost because on the video, they said even if that was the case, he still has the right to defend himself. That the man attacked him and he didn't attack the man. So what I'm saying, I don't want my people to go out here and be crash dummies. We gotta understand the enemy and know the device of the enemy. People will try to provoke you to fight them only to kill you. There was another incident, a true story, where this young lady, she went in the store, and it wasn't her husband, it was her boyfriend, but they was dating for a long time, and they had a 7-year-old together, and they had a newborn together. So the boyfriend was in the car with the 7-year-old and the newborn, and the mother went in the store. And while the mother was coming out the store, some white man, some racist white man, bumped into her with the door and didn't say sorry, and was rude to her and said something to her. Yes, he was out of order, he was out of line, he was disrespectful. He bumped her with the door, didn't say sorry, and then he said something rude to her. Now, what she go and do is she go to the car and she tell her boyfriend, hey, this white dude just bumped me with this door, didn't say sorry to me, and then he was talking to me all type of ways. And what the boyfriend do? What most boyfriend would do, he was trying to defend his girlfriend, defend his honor, and he got out of the car and went to approach the man. And as he approached the man, they got into a little argument, and he snatched the man's door open, and the man shot him dead. And he got out. This also was in Florida, and he got out with stand your ground, because the camera shows that yes, he was the one that approached the white man, and he was the one that snatched the white man door open. So he was, they said, the aggressor. He was the one that was aggressive, and the other man had a right to use force to protect himself. So this is not, a lot of this stuff don't make news, but they've been killing our people and getting away with it. So I'm saying, don't be a don't be a crash dummy. Don't just go around trying to fight people. Be wise. That's why I said on my last video, you can't be so offended to let words affect you. Because if somebody, you can't let somebody calling you a bitch nigga or a hoe nigga control you so much where you be ready to fight somebody every time that somebody say that to you. It's called self-control. It's what the spirit, the ruach of the Most High give us self-control, give us that power, where we might not have had it before, but through Him, through meditating, through reading the scripture, through fasting. Fasting is a big deal, and praying, fasting and praying to break those strongholds, to have control, and the Most High will give you control. And so I must put balance with this and tell us that we as people, we must have discernment and have wisdom and know what type of world we living in. There's a time and a place for everything. You can't just go running up fighting any and everybody, because everybody don't have the love of the Most High in them and don't play by the rules of the Most High. And now in these two cases I said, you got the first young man lost his life in in front of his wife and 2 kids. What's the honor in that? He's not there to be able for, now he's not there. He can't be there for his wife. He can't be there for his 2 kids, his 2 sons or his 2 daughters, because he chose to let that man provoke him and trick him out of his own life. Now he can't, even though he might have, at that moment, felt like he was being a man and protecting his family. Was he really? How dying in front of your wife and kids is protecting them and now he can't protect them because he in the grave, and the man that killed him got off. So we got to be smart because, yes, we as men, especially men of our household, we got to be there to protect our family. It's not wise to just fight any and everybody just because they offend us or made us mad. You got to understand how to approach people, not to be afraid of them necessarily, but yes, afraid of what they might do to us, because people may take our life away. And we as men, we want to be there for our children. We want to be there for our wives. That's our duty, is to be there for them. And sometimes letting stuff, uh, the best way we can be there for them is not to let things get to us, not to have a quick temper. Where somebody would kill us or we end up killing somebody and we won't be there for our family. That's why we must have self-control and discernment. But if there's a case where there is a fight and somebody hits you and you have to defend yourself, no, fighting is not a sin and fighting is not wrong. But once again, we should have peace with all men. The goal is not to fight. But if the time comes where you have to fight, or you just have to beat up somebody, but you know what I'm saying? You just have to put hands on them. And the Most High be with you and protect you. What's the way of doing that? But let's get into this. Exodus 21:18. If a man strive together, or if two men fight, and one smite the other with a stone or with his fist, and he die not, but keep the bed. So he's saying if two men get in the fight, and one of the man hit the man with a stone, or not even with a stone or a stick, but just with his fist, and he don't kill the man, but he hurt the man to the point where the man can't get up and work for a couple of days, but have to lay in the bed and recover. I don't know, maybe he got in a fight and maybe he broke the man's ribs, or maybe he broke the man's jaw, maybe he uh, connected the man's shoulders. You know, all these things, you can get injured in a fight like that. When it's just two men fighting, there's injuries that can happen. Maybe he hurt his leg, well, he was limping. You know, sometimes you get in a fight and you can win, and after you win, you don't feel nothing. But the next day you wake up, you aching. You're like, man, why am I aching? Because, oh, I got in a fight yesterday. And through all that adrenaline and your blood rushing, you wasn't feeling no pain. You wasn't thinking, there wasn't no blood. You wasn't thinking you was hurt until you slept over and woke up. And now you walking with a limp and you feeling the effects for the fight. Let's get deeper into this though. It says, and you don't kill the man, because if you end up killing him, you know what happens, right? Yeah, you gonna die. According to the Most High, if you kill a man, you gonna die. Now, if it's an accident or you just get in a fight and you didn't mean to kill him, you still have to go to the judge, and you're gonna have to be away from society. You ain't gonna be able to live in this society. You're gonna have to live in the cities of the slayers. Gonna have to live in that city that they make for people that accidentally kill people, not on purpose. If that's decided to be the judgment, and you're gonna have to stay in that city until the to somebody died. I forgot what it was. The judge of the next city died, I believe. But if you leave that city any time before then the penny is death. If somebody find you and kill you, that's just what it is. The blood is on your own hands. So you never want to kill a man because you knew the consequences was your life getting killed. So what would happen if you fight a man and you don't kill him but you just hurt him? It says, and he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff. Why do he got a staff? Because he limping, because you beat his butt. It says, then shall he that smack him be quitted, meaning the man that put him on the staff, the man that beat him up or hit him with the stick or a stone to hurt him for the point that this man is not dead, he's walking around, but it's on the staff, then he that smacked him should be acquitted. The man that put him, that beat him, that put him in that predicament should not go to jail. He should be acquitted. He shouldn't go to jail for beating that man, nor should he be put to death for beating this man. This is the Most High judgment. He says if somebody beat your butt, know he gonna go to jail. In this society, you can go to jail for beating somebody's butt. And in this society, you can go to beat somebody's butt and they kill you, and they don't go to jail. They get away with it because you was the aggressor. I think I like the Most High laws better, where you can go ahead and beat somebody's butt and don't have to worry about going to jail nor getting killed. It says only. So the man, he should not be punished, nor should he go to jail. He should only do this. Only he shall pay for the lost time and should cause him to be thoroughly healed. So basically, if I beat a dude and I break his rib or hurt his arm, well, he can't go to work the next day. Wherever they pay him a day, I will have to pay him for the time he missed that work. Whether for that 1 day or 2 days, or he's out for a week, however long it takes for him to recover so he can be able to go back to work to provide for his family. Since I took that away from him by putting him in the predicament that he's in, I will have to pay for him not being able to work. Whatever his job pay that he's not getting because he hurt, I will have to pay him for that. See how fair the Most High is? That there's consequences to everything. Yeah, it's not a sin, but there's a consequence you're going to have to deal with for doing this, for fighting. Because we should be getting along with one another and not fighting and hurting one another. And that's what it means when he said don't have revenges or don't try to take it for yourself, because some people, they'll get beat up. After they get beat up and hurt like this, they'll be trying to revenge themselves. Most I said don't do that. So this person that got up, that's why I say every law is connected. When you learn the Most High ways and his laws, everything is connected. Now the man that's hurt, he can't try to get revenge for himself. The Father said don't hold grudges or try to get revenge. For if you get your butt whooped, that's just it. You don't try to rematch or get a revenge or hate that man because he beat your butt. My mama always told me, hey, it don't matter if you win or lose. Still don't be a pushover. It's not about winning and losing. It's about being a man and standing up for yourself. And even if that man whoop your butt, if he disrespect you, again, be ready to fight him and get your butt whooped again. Because it's about your respect. She didn't care if I lose. She just wanted to know that I stand up for myself. And let's see, it says, and he should pay for his son and the cause from the hill. Not only should he pay for the time that he lost at the work, but he should pay for him if he end up breaking that man ribs or breaking his jaw or whatever case he may be, where the man have to heal and pay some money to get better. Whatever money he paid for himself to get better, I have to repay him because it's my job to make sure he heal because I'm the one that did it to him. I caused that. As a man, I got to be responsible and pay for what I caused. And if I don't want to pay nobody, if I don't want to have to come out the pocket, then I won't be beating nobody, especially to the point where they can't work or where they have to be healed with something. So the most I put these places and laws, so one thing, so it won't get that far. But if somebody do this, that can be an example. Hey, yeah, so and so got in a fight, so and so beat him real bad, but so and so had to come out the pocket. So we can look at that and say, boy, I don't want to. If I do get in a fight, I don't want to beat nobody that bad because I don't want to come out the pocket. Not only that, but uh, I don't want to hurt my brother either. To the point that he gonna have to lay off work for a couple of days. That goes into loving others how you love yourself. But yeah, the most I understand that we as brothers, we might get into it. We might fight. And there's nothing wrong with fighting. He's just not the fighting is not a sin. There's no law that say thou shalt not fight. But he's saying if you do fight and if you do end up hurting your brother to the point where he have to walk with a cane because you hit him with a stone because you was like a coward. Instead of picking up a fish, you picked up something and beat him with it, but he didn't die. Or you really didn't pick up nothing and you used your fish, but you beat him to the point where he was beat real bad. Now you're gonna have to take that responsibility and you're gonna have to pay that man to get healed. Every cent. And this is righteous judgment. Well, nobody dies or go to jail for beating somebody. And if the person that beat, they don't try to get revenge and kill the person or hate the person. But if they get beat real bad, you're gonna have to pay for it by coming out of the pocket and paying for the losses. Not only the time that he spent out of work, but also to heal him. So it wouldn't be in your best interest to beat somebody that bad. So yes, family, uh, fighting is not a sin. You can fight, but let's be fair. Everybody that fought when Jacob fought with the angel, it was one on one, and there was no stones and sticks being used. It was just fishes, one on one, hands to hands. And if somebody actually pick up something and do that to one of the brothers, Scripture tell us to be peacemaker, make peace. We should be there to break up a fight and then not cause it to go that far. But brothers, if you beat a man to the point that you hurt him, It's your responsibility to make sure that man heal right. And if he can't go to work, it's your responsibility to pay for the times that he wasn't able to go to work because you caused him for that. And this is righteous judgment. But always, let's have discernment. Let's be smart. We know we're in a wicked world. We got to protect ourselves. Let's have self-control. Let's not go blowing out the hinges, try to fight nobody. But this, I'm just uh, speaking the Most High words, or was His regulation to let us know that you can defend yourself. It's not a sin to get in a fight with your brother, but it is a sin to hold grudges, to hate your brother, and to try to take your brother's life. There's nothing wrong with teaching somebody a lesson, putting hands to somebody. There's nothing wrong with gaining respect for one another. Sometimes you have to fight it out as men. But let's do it lawfully. Let's do it wisely. In any case, let's try not to do it at all. Shalom.
I got a question.